Now, in last week's blog, we looked at opportunity creation as one of the elements of a high-performing sales and marketing organisation. Opportunity creation as defined in the Miller Heiman sales system. Today, let's move to the next element of that system, which is opportunity management. Now, high-performing organisations know, those organisations that have aligned both sales and marketing for growth, they know that they need to have defined systems that are buyer-centric that get repeated over and over again. And certainly in our own research, we've seen those high-performing organisations that have implemented these systems growing 5.4 percentage points faster than their nearest competitor. And importantly, they were closing deals 36% more effectively each and every time. So what is this strategic selling process and how can you implement it in your organisation? Well, let me take you through a number of the key elements of strategic selling. Now, there are a number of different core elements in strategic selling. I'm going to cover each one of them on today's blog. Let me talk to you about buying influences, wins and results, strengths and red flags, and then high quality actions to leverage strengths and reduce red flags. Let's first go to buying influences. Now, in strategic selling, Bob Miller and Stephen Heiman identified 4 different groups of individuals that you need to engage with if you're going to have a high-performing sales process. The first of those was the economic buying influence. It's that buying influence that's quite challenging to get to, who has control of discretionary use of funds. They're the only buyer in the process that actually has the power to say yes. They're the ultimate signatory. But again, great process doesn't only focus on the economic buyer, but the other buying influences that are also involved. What about those technical buying influences? Those people that are looking at your specifications and matching them against the business requirements that the organisation is trying to resolve. What about those buying influences, those individuals that are going to look or live with the results of any proposal? Miller Heiman Group referred to this as user buying influences. And again, you ignore the users at your own peril. They're the people that are going to live with the results. Let me talk about the 4th buying influence that Miller Heiman have identified, and that of the role of coach. Now, there's 3 very strong criteria that needs to be identified for that person to truly be a coach. First of all, you must have credibility with that individual. Secondly, that individual must have credibility with the buying influences for this single sales objective, this opportunity. And then thirdly, they must want your solution to win. And when you have all 3 of those elements together, you've got a really powerful information source that can help guide your strategy. Now, when we engage with these buying influences, what are we engaging around? What is the focus of our activity? And again, Miller Heiman defines this in strategic selling with the concept of wins and results. Now, you know that people buy first with their heart and then secondly with their head. So what are they trying to achieve? What's the business outcome that they're trying to achieve in their role of economic buyer, technical buyer, or user buyer? These are the tangible things that they're trying to fix, accomplish, or avoid in those roles. What are they, and how do they dimension their success? That's the notion of result, very tangible items. But if they were to achieve those business results, what would it mean to them personally? That's the notion of personal win. And it's the connection of those 2 things together that drives real power in your selling processes. So be constantly asking yourself, what business result do I need to deliver to that individual for them to personally win? It's the heart of really great selling. And maybe you're asking your coach to provide you some of those insights to guide your strategy. Now we know in any selling situation, there are always things where you are strong and there are always gaps, some things that you're uncomfortable with. And again, Miller Heiman used the term strengths and red flags. What are those strengths? Where are those areas where you're truly connecting with the buying influences win result? Maybe you've got a great history in that account. Maybe you've got high credibility. Maybe you've got demonstrable success in that line of business over a long period of time. All of those might be strengths that you can actualize, do something about to really connect with your buyer. And then ask yourself, what are the things that concern you? What are the gaps in your knowledge? Perhaps you've not yet identified a coach within this opportunity. Perhaps you have an economic buyer who doesn't see a need to change. There could be a whole number of different, again, Miller Heiman refers to them as red flags that you've not yet to identify. Get your teams together to kind of flesh these out. Brainstorm what your strengths might be and what your vulnerabilities might be, or your red flags. Again, in strategic selling, one of the great things about the process is getting the entire team to do this and capturing those results on one page. Now, with your strengths identified and your red flags identified, brainstorm all the possible actions that you might take to leverage strengths and then reduce red flags. And then come up with a short list of actions you can take over the next 30, 60, 90 days to really move your strategy forward. That's the art of great selling, and it's how high-performing organisations achieve consistent process and drive better results each and every time. Good luck and good selling.